these are two really well constructed characters that have a really great dynamic and let us in on the joke and let us in on this tragedy while bringing in a lot of brevity to it. I think you're able to balance, more mature and more dramatic motifs through these characters and the way they communicate with each other. And I think that goes to show there's some really, really great writing that these actors get to work with. Um, yeah, I think this is a really great story. I think the camera work is great. I think the transitions were really well done. The pacing was very natural, and it really it gives you this feeling of almost just stepping in on this conversation between women.
Leaves a lot to unpack, not only with its complex narrative, but also emotionally with what these two characters have endured. I loved their back and forth. These two performers do a fantastic job at making these women feel real and complex and nuanced, while also adding some little elements of camp that allow us to smirk and even give a light chuckle, despite the fact that we're dealing with some very serious and heavy themes here.
Nothing can help you or hurt you as much as the thoughts you carry within yourself in your own head. And this plot twist is the ultimate reveal of Naomi being found in a catatonic state almost. She's deranged, she's in her head, lost, abandoned in the desert to face her mistakes that she's made. She even vocalizes out loud, who burns their own children, only for us to find she did. And I think this short film makes nods to these acts of sympathy and understanding towards those who do unspeakable actions. Her voice of reason happens to be her own nurse who's trying to snap her out of this trance almost, because we see her have this moment of, are you there? Are you listening? But we don't really see this character, Naomi, come to terms for what she's really done, as if she's putting the guilt onto other people versus herself. She's not necessarily taking accountability for her actions, which might be the very reason why she doesn't wake up. We witness her own internal sufferings of the price of her lost loved ones and to her own undoing nonetheless. I think seeing this knife translate from existing in the daydream to the real world does give us this realistic lens on situations that remind us of, say, people who have dementia or other mental downfalls. So I thought that really translated well.
I really like its use of the unreliable narrator, where it created such a chaotic realm where you really had no idea what was going on between these two hitchhikers, um, until you realize at the end just how much this was more of an inflection on our main character Naomi, uh, where, as the title suggests, her mind is very fragmented. So this conversation isn't actually a conversation between two hitchhikers, but it's more a conversation from herself. Uh, the part of her that's committed this crime and the part of her that could never stomach the idea of doing such a crime. It was such a fascinating thing for that reveal to explain that uh, these weren't two separate people. This is the same person, but because of that, you see both perspectives of uh, why she did the act. It was very jaw dropping.
This had a really cool opening. I liked what they did with that fast forwarding effect. and how they had her in the middle of the street. I thought that was a really neat way of opening this. Um, the whole story and the whole concept of this was there. I really, really liked the concept. And I thought it was so interesting the way that the filmmakers decided to tell it. I I think the cinematography was great. I loved what they did with some of the vocal effects that they put on there.
Really interesting look into the human mind. I think it makes for really interesting dialogue and character from the setting at the start, and it really sets the stage to explore what the reality is. And from an unreliable narrator perspective, for us as an audience, not really knowing what information we can trust. And I think that makes for a really reflective and thought provoking short film.